Hello my friends, and welcome to today's video. I'm still trying to recover from what I watched last night on episode 3 of Game of Thrones, and I have many things to talk about. Yes, but before I begin, I would like to let you know that this video will be full of spoilers, so if you haven't watched the episode yet, I suggest you do so before watching this video. Yes, so let's begin because I have many things to say. Yes. Opening scene of the episode, we see Sam being, a bit scared and worried because Sam is one of the few characters that actually know what's out there for them, what's coming next, because he has been in the position of, fighting the Army of the Dead and the White Walker too, so he knows he's, a bit scared, and then we see everybody getting ready for the battle. It's going crazy, and then we see outside Winterfell the Army of the Unsullied. We see Brienne and Jaime. Dolores said yes, and Jorah with a ghost next to him. At that moment I was like, oh my god, it's good to see Ghost, but what is he doing there, John, why did you send him there? I was so worried about our little friend, I'm not going to lie. But yes, he was there next to Ser Jorah. And while we are waiting and waiting, and we see also Dany and Jon looking from above, ready, to get in the fight, and we are waiting for the attack to happen. It's so quiet. Some really torturing moments there. We see someone arriving, and at first I thought, oh, who is this? It looks like it's Benjen. Don't ask me why, but that's what I thought. And it's Melisandre. She arrives, and we get to see Davos' reaction at her arrival, and she talks to Ser Jorah, and she does something cool, lighting up all the Araks. I believe that's the right term, of the Dothraki army that was there as well. Yes, and it was a really cool scene to see all these Araks lighting up. And then what do we see? Oh yes, before she goes inside, oh my god, at that point, she looks at Grey Worm, and she says, Valar Morghulis, and he replies, Valar Dohaeris, if I'm not mistaken, that's the right term, yes. And I was worried at that moment. I was like, oh my god, that's it, confirmed, Grey Worm is not going to survive the episode. Yes, and she goes inside, and we have the interaction with Davos, and it's nice because he informs him, she's cool, and tells him, Sir Davos, you don't have to kill me, to execute me, because I will be dead before dawn. Yes, interesting there. And she looks at Arya. They have a brief moment there because, it takes us back to when they met last time. Yes, you have that scene too. And we see the first Dothraki going there with their fiery weapons to the Army of the Dead, and for a moment all the lights go out one by one, and we are so scared because we don't know what's happening, we're like, what happened, what is going on, please tell me. It was so stressful, but so good at the same time, they were building the hype. And then we see some of them returning and tell them, to fall back or whatever, to retreat. It was, oh my god, that was such a moment. Scary, because then the attack happens and the battle officially begins. Yes, that was quite a moment. And then we see Dany and Jon immediately riding the dragons, trying, to help as much as I can, because Dany cannot wait any longer, she wants to help. And yes, we see Drogon putting some fire to the whites. That was a cool scene, and the effects, I really like that, and it's going crazy, like everybody's saving someone, Ed is saving Sam, and after a while he dies. I was, a bit worried about Dolores, and that's what happened. We have our first favorite character, dying, and then we have Brienne, who is also in danger, fighting with a white, and Sir Jamie saving her. By now, you know how I feel about these two. It's like, oh, but we were worried about Brienne too, and Jamie, and everybody. Grey Worm, Sir Jorah, we were worried at that point. And then, what else do we have? What's the next scene? I made so many notes because it was such an intense episode. I had, to pay attention. They couldn't keep so many notes, so I had to rewatch some parts afterwards so I can make this video. Yes. Anyway, oh yes, and then we see Jon and going and the nurse, if I'm not mistaken. Oh my God, I cannot talk one of those days. Excuse me. Yes, they are going straight for the White Walkers generals. So when we think yes, good move. Then what happens is a strange fog, a snowstorm, something like that comes and reduces visibility for the dragons. So it's like they're flying and they're confused and blind. Yes, and I think, I don't know if it was from the White Walkers, but I think it was from the White Walkers, maybe it was from the Night King. Yes, so you have the fog there and all that confusion going on. I was like, oh my God, they're going to fall from the dragons. Yes, that was another moment as well. And then when we see Arya and Sansa, because they were watching from inside Winterfell, inside the castle, Arya gives Sansa the dragon glass knife, yes, a weapon, whatever, and tells her to go down to the crypts because she will be more safe there. And Sansa saying, I'm not abandoning my people, but Arya insisting you should go there because that's the best thing you can do right now, and gives her the weapon and tells her, stick them with a pointy end, the famous one that Jon told her, the famous line that Jon told her when he gave her a needle. Yes, that was a nice moment between those two. I really liked that. And after the battle is so crazy and insane, we see our fighters going inside the castle, and retreating and, trying to save themselves, of course. And what else was the next scene? Oh yes, of course, Davos is giving instructions because they had, all these logs, I don't remember the correct term, these good logs in front of the castle to have them, as a trap, and that was giving instructions so someone can light them up, but everybody's failing. And then we see Melisandre going outside and again doing one of her tricks that was so nice again, and saying something, her magic, and touching one of those goods, and everything lightens up, it's on fire, and it took her a while. I was like, come on, that was intense as well. Like, come on, lady, help. She was pretty badass in this episode, Melisandre, I have to tell you. Yes, and that was really cool. And the whites were stopping there before hurting themselves. Does it make even sense, because they're already dead? But they didn't step into the fire, that was the point. So yes, Melisandre saving the moment. It was nice to watch. That was a really nice moment. And then while they're getting inside, that's what I wanted to tell you, it was nice seeing Arya saving the Hound because he was in danger. Yes, and I really enjoyed that moment. It was nice to see. Yes, and what was the next scene? We have, in the crypt, Sansa is going there and saying that we are all here because that's the best thing we can do at the moment. We cannot help because, Tyrion wanted to be outside, and saying that maybe I would be helpful and everything. But Sansa insists that it's, crazy, doesn't matter, even if you were there, so it's better that we're all here. And they have a moment that was nice in the episode, cute moment where Sansa says that we couldn't have worked out, even though you were the best husband I had, we couldn't have worked things out. And Tyrion's like, why so? And basically Sansa telling him because of your loyalty to Daenerys. And without thinking, Missandei is there and she expresses her disappointment, telling, yes, if it wasn't for her, we would all be dead. You have that moment in the crypts too, relaxing for a while from all that from the episode. And then we are moving to the Westwood, what is the right term? I don't remember, where Bran is with Theon and the Ironborn, that they are protecting him in a circle. They have formed a circle around him, and we see Theon. Oh my God, we see Theon trying to say something to Bran, but he cannot find his words, and you can feel, oh my God, Alfie Allen did a great job. You can feel, his emotions there. He's a great actor, but you could see it was too much and overwhelming. And then Bran telling him, everything you did, and it brought you to where you are today, home. That was a very, very beautiful moment. I really liked it. And then he leaves, he closes his eyes and he goes to the Ravens to spy on the Night King. Weird, but it was a beautiful moment there with Theon. Yes, and next thing we see is the Night King doing his thing, I believe, and the Whites falling up to one another, so they can form a passage, in the fire they can form a passage for the others to pass and go inside the castle, and that's what happens, and it's crazy all over again. They're climbing the walls, and we see our favorite characters again, Brienne, Paul, Jaime, and some, fighting, and when they go inside, we see a huge, of course, giant. He's a giant, so he's huge. Yes, getting inside, and oh my God, we see Lyanna Mormont with her fighters. That scene, I was worried. I was like, oh my God, that's it, she's going to die. And that's what happens, she does. But because it's Lyanna Mormont, she couldn't just go down like that, and she had to go down like a boss, like she is. And the giant grabs her, she attacks him, and you see that just right before she dies, she takes the giant down because she's so brave, yes, and puts the knife in his eye. But then our little bear dies as well, and I can't. All the emotions from watching last night come back. Yes, it was such an episode there as well. And that happened. Next we see Dany and Jon after the Night King and Viserion. In the end, we see a bit of a Dance of the Dragons. I love the special effects there, because we cannot see what exactly is happening, because it's still the fog, storm again, whatever it is, and dragons bumping into one another and biting. We don't know who is who, but it was nice to see that, that scene. And I love the scenes with the dragons. When the one that they are on the clouds or above the clouds near the moon. I love the special effects on this one, CGI, whatever. Yes, I really loved that. Yes, and after the fight, oh my God, after the fight we see Arya inside the castle. She's in the library or something like that, trying to avoid some whites, and we see that she's so delicate with her moves and everything, that she's been through. Her training in the House of Black and White has paid off, and she's so quiet, but then she's dripping from the blood, and one white is smelling the blood, but she manages to escape them, and then she bumps into more. That was oh my God, I thought she was going to die for that moment as well. Yes, in case you haven't noticed, and I think most of you did the same, I thought the characters will die almost every time. Like, oh my God, now you're dying, now you're dying. It was so intense. I cannot find a better word to describe the episode. Oh my god. Yes, but then we see Beric and the Hound being there and meeting Arya, bumping into Arya, and they are trying to save her, and the Hound is trying to save her and protect her, and Beric the same, and the Whites attack him, and Arya is trying to save Beric. Oh my god, that was so beautiful as well, because you see all these redemption, how can I say it, yes, and remorse, everything. It was so nice, but then they go into the Great Hall, they lock the door, the Whites outside, and unfortunately Beric dies because he was hurt. I was emotional there, and we see Melisandre telling Arya that that was the purpose, his purpose, he fulfilled it, and that's why the Lord of the Light, whatever, brought him back, and they talk about how they met again, and Arya is telling her, blah blah blah, all these nice exchanges and dialogue they have there, and you see that they are up to something, but I didn't get it at that moment what they meant, because Melisandre is telling her, so what do we say to death? And Arya responds, not today, and something about starting blue eyes now, because that's what's left. I didn't get it, I'm honest, but it was, very helpful and pointing towards the end of the episode. Yes, what can I say? And then we see Rhaegal and Viserion fighting, and Rhaegal is wounded. I was so worried about the dragons, and I kept saying to my sister, what will they do without the dragons? How are they even going to survive this episode? And if they do, what happens without the dragons? I was so worried, even for the dragons, and Ghost as well, I have to tell you. My sister too. It was yes, it was such, I don't know, intense. Again, I'm sorry, but I cannot find a better word. Seriously, that was the episode. And then Drogon comes with Daenerys, and we have Daenerys and her Dracarys moment that we haven't listened, we haven't heard of her saying this for a while. And yeah, you see the Night King sees, she's putting a dragon fire to the Night King, but I was sure that he's not going to die. I was sure, yes, because it cannot be that simple. Yeah, but yes, and Daenerys is terrified, and he is smiling back at her. Oh my god, yes, nice moment there as well. Yes. Nothing happened to him, just he was a bit, bronzed maybe afterwards, sun-kissed, but nothing happened to him. And while he's leaving, and going towards the castle to get inside, we have Jon, seeing Jon waiting, being there, and going after him, and that again, we were like, oh my god, hype was building up, saying, oh my god, that is the moment when they are going to come, face to face and fight one another. The moment we have been waiting for all these seasons and everything, but no, the Night King raises the dead again. Yes, and he just leaves. And what else? Yes, Jon is in trouble. Dany saves him. It was crazy. So many things happening at such a little, in fractions of time, in seconds, that I couldn't keep up. Really, it was crazy. Anyway, but we also see that, as I suspected, and many other people who talk about Game of Thrones here on YouTube, the Night King, also raised the dead from the crypts of Winterfell, but only those that did not have the statues in front of them, if I'm not mistaken. They didn't have the swords that book readers though is for protecting them and keeping them inside, their spirits inside, and not going outside, but the other were raised, and it was a crazy moment in the crypts. Oh my god, yes. And then the next scene we see White above the crypts now attacking Drogon, and he's in pain. I felt sorry for Drogon at that moment. And yes, Dany falls from the dragon, and you can see the terrified look in her face. She's so worried of what's going to happen to me, because she has no dragons, she has no weapon, and she's surrounded by whites. And then of course out of nowhere Ser Jorah comes, and saves her at the cost of his own life. Not something that we didn't see coming, because he loves her so much, and him dying to protect her, that was a way to go down for his character's arc, I believe. Yes, and that's what happened. And with the death of Ser Jorah, we have the end of House Mormon. That's what I was thinking. It was so intense and emotional, of course, so emotional. And I forgot to tell before, now that I said this about the end of House Mormont, that we also saw the little Perliana Mormont raising as a dead, and Dolores said that was quite a moment there as well. Yes, and of course when Ser Jorah, he's trying to say something, I didn't quite make sense of what it is. Dany's, when he passes away, Dany cries, and Drogon, he's finally next to her, and he's like probably feeling her emotions, and is crying or is in pain, emotional pain next to Dany. That was such a beautiful scene, I have to tell you. And then back to the crypts, we have Sansa and Tyrion hiding and having their moment as well, and Tyrion is grabbing Sansa's hand and kisses it. It was a beautiful, beautiful moment. And I was watching a video from another YouTuber, Game of Thrones content creators. I'm not quite sure which one it is. I don't want to say something that is not right, because I have a weak memory, but it was either Grey Area, Talking Thrones, or Gemma from The Secrets of the Citadel. It was something nice they said, and I didn't notice, but I'm glad they mentioned, I wanted to mention it as well. They were hiding behind Ned's statue, so it was nice to see how Ned was protecting his daughter even after death. So nice. Yes, one of the guys mentioned it, and I wanted to say it as well, because it was a good point and I didn't notice. Yes, and we have the Night King entering Winterfell with his White Walkers generals, and Jon is trying to do, but to go to him and try to go to Bran, but he cannot. He's having a hard time, and Viserion is in the fight as well with his flame and everything. Oh my god, crazy, Brienne, poor Jaime, Sam. Jon sees Sam, but he's not saving him because he has to go to Bran, but he cannot. It was crazy, crazy. I'm sure you feel the same way. And then we have the moment when we see Bran and Theon. Oh my god, that moment was so beautiful. Bran is coming back at the right moment, and we see Theon and the Ironborn, they are fighting, but they run out of weapons, arrows, and Theon is looking at Bran, and he's crying, and that was the most beautiful moment of the episode for me, and even Bran, that he is now cool, collected, and detached, cold, and everything. Even Bran showing a bit of emotion at that moment, and my sister told me that he shed a tear as well, because Theon was, having tears, and I think, and my sister noticed that she thinks that Bran shed a tear as well. It was such a beautiful moment. And then he tells him, "You're a good man, Theon." And Theon knows that he is going to die. And what he does, he is going right for the Night King, even though he knows that he has no chance against him. And the Night King kills him. But like my sister said, pointed out, Theon is looking him in the eyes before dying, and you can see that even the Night King is a bit impressed because, he looked death in the eyes and he didn't die like a coward or anything that they were saying throughout the series. He died like a hero, and it takes some strength, inner strength, and yes, quite a bit of courage to do so. I love that moment. Of course, that was a moment when I was so emotional because I have mentioned before I love Theon as a character. Yes, and I was crying like a baby. That was it before the end of the episode. Yes, but I wanted to mention it, and then we have the scene of all scenes, the Night King going for Bran. Bran is waiting for him and he looks at him, and you can tell like they are communicating somehow. They're saying something because they look each other in the eye, they stare at each other. And before he finishes off Brian, we have the hero of the day, the one saving the day, Arya, coming out of nowhere from behind. And now it makes sense what Melisandre told her, and the Night King, of course, is ready for her, and he grabs her by the throat, but Arya, with all her trainings, drops the cat's paw dagger, if I'm not mistaken, from Valyrian steel, yes, dagger, from one hand to another, and stabs him, and being the baddest of all of them, saving the day. He is dying, White Walkers die, and all the whites, and that's it. That's when the battle ends, and the final scene we have Melisandre, walking outside. I was looking at her, and she's taking off her necklace, and you see the fire that was burning inside the ruby. Going down, and she's becoming the old lady that we've seen in previous seasons, excuse me, and the way she was, and she's, dying, and is turning into dust before dawn, just like she said. That was the episode. Yes, she had fulfilled, her purpose, and that was it. But that was the episode, and I have to tell you that I still have some questions. I loved it. It was definitely one of the best episodes of Game of Thrones so far. They did a great job and everything. I love the special effects and everything, but I still have some questions. How come, the Night King... how come he was defeated so easily? Because he was the big villain and everything for seasons now. I don't know. Yes, what happened? What did they say with Bran? How did they communicate? And how did Arya get to understand? I don't know. And everything. And why wasn't it Jon? And so many questions. Anyway. Yes, but I really enjoyed this episode, and I'm still trying to recover. It was a great one, guys. And we have a season 8, episode 4, the trailer, where we see the remaining characters honoring their dead because they failed, fighting. And they were so brave. We have Daenerys being more welcome now by the Northerners because she helped them and everything, and saying that we won this fight, now we have another one in King's Landing, for the Iron Throne. We see Cersei and Euron having their moment there. Yes, and we also see that the Ghost is alive. Yes, in the trailer. And so is Drogon and Rhaegal wounded, probably hurt, but alive nonetheless. Yes, I think that was it. My thoughts and impressions on this episode as well. I loved it. Please let me know what you thought, and what was the most shocking moment according to you. When did you cry for which character, and what were your impressions? Let me know. Leave me a comment down below, guys, and of course like this video if you liked it. We are halfway through the season, 3 more videos to make. I hope you enjoy them as much as I do making them for you. Share it if you feel it's worth sharing, and yes, of course, last but not least, in case you wish to subscribe to my channel and support, click the little bubble here, you know where to find it by now. It will subscribe to my channel, and I will not be having another video this week because I don't have time. But I will see you next week with the Game of Thrones episode again, episode Impressions and Thoughts again, and another one music related or anything else related next week. So thank you very, very much, my friends. I'm going to edit this and see you in the next one. Bye.